Welcome back, y'all.
What up, food? I'm gonna try to change the
the cadence of it,
I'm still playing around with it.
Oh, okay. I got mine.
Yeah, no, you're good.
If I was standing, I could do a little kick.
If you're watching the video, you can see her. You're still doing a little hip thing.
Welcome back, y'all.
Even though we're sitting on like a little head toss.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a vibe. I'm working on my brand still. You found yours. You found yours quickly.
I could have many. I like many different little weird things like that. Didn't know y'all was gonna be my thing, but it's growing on me.
I didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that much. As the person who's actually from the South, I didn't see you stealing that.
No, I'm always like, I will not say y'all.
No.
So now here we go. That's what it looks
word.
like to be inauthentic and out of culture. It's fine.
Or just hang out with someone from the South.
Yeah,
for 100 hours a week.
That's why you should be careful with who the company you keep because they will rub off on you. If you don't want to be more like your business partner or spouse, you should probably not be in partnership with them. Boom. That's not even the topic today. That's an extra. There you go.
That's a little freebie, guys. Just before we even get into it today. Just take that little nugget and run with it.
No, I'm a little sponge. I'll just turn into whoever's around.
That's not true.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
You have a strong identity.
Oh, thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
I'm very nice.
Best day ever.
I'm also clear.
Oh,
not always. That's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about the clarity gap. So why your team doesn't know what you expect. So the difference between what we think we're saying and what we're actually saying, what we think we're communicating verbally or non-verbally, and how that's actually being received. I think this is a big statement. I think this is like the number one reason things don't work. Right. I think this is the number one friction causing thing is this misalignment between leadership and team and what we're calling the clarity gap. So I'm going to ask the question today.
My palms are so sweaty. Why did I let you ask the question on this one?
I didn't know how this is how you feel all the time at the beginning of these shows. This is incredible. I'm never going back.
I hate this.
I'm asking the questions from now on.
All right. Good.
No, I'm not going to be too hard on you. When was a time that you thought you were being clear, but it turned out that you weren't?
Well, fucking yesterday. All the time.
Give us a specific.
I move so fast all the time. I am not great at this. This is why Impact Initiative fucking exists. When is a time?
Or give me a time. Maybe the add-on to that question is, when was the time that happened and it was most consequential? Because there's like lots of little things, and not that that's not.
No,
you don't want to solve that, but yeah.
This is like something I would say. This is like probably my life's work, but I would say one of the times is. When we launched the nonprofit, and it was our first training group. And I thought I was crystal clear. I really did. I thought I was clear I thought I was super clear with our trainees and what it looked like instead of, I'll go super detailed. Instead of paying for the training like we typically had people do to get certified in our methodology, we had them raise money for the nonprofit because I was going to put everything that year to like launch the nonprofit and get it to as many kids. We do leadership development, another organization for students, high school and college. And so we had a group of, 12 maybe. It was like a smaller group of trainees, all very committed to helping youth. And I was like, this is it. I thought I was crystal clear at how that worked. Nonprofit was brand new. Training had just been revamped. It was a catastrophic disaster that cost us all of the work that we did that year. There was still impact on the student side. Great impact. Mm-hmm. Lives changed. On the business side, for me and the business, and you.
I was there.
You were there. It was a catastrophic loss because we lost. There's not one of those facilitators that is still with us.
Mm-hmm.
people were truly mad at me because they were unclear, and
Correct.
I didn't hold people's feet to the fire. Like, I gave way too much grace because I was still learning.
Mhm.
This is something that, like, grace is not grace is not being nice.
Mhm.
Grace is giving people is choosing to move forward with people in freedom with clarity.
Mhm.
I made that up on the fly.
Mm.
I might need to like think about that for a second. But I think a lot of times we're like, I'm going to give them grace. I'm not going to tell them. I'm just going to be nice. I'm just going to give them grace. And I'm like, that is not grace.
Clear is kind.
Clear is kind. When you choose to not be clear, it is not grace, because it actually has a worse result on both of you in the long run. And it builds bad habits fast.
Mhm.
And that's where I wasn't clear. So that would be the one, the biggest one. I think most recently, it was a couple years ago. But just because you're learning, just because you're new, doesn't mean that you don't need to be clear. You still have to be clear, and you have to be more clear if you're in. I'm getting real passionate about this one.
Knocking mics around.
You have to be more clear if you're in the learning process. If you're not grounded and have everything processed out, you have to be more clear. You have to communicate more, and you have to do it more frequently if you're in the learning or development phase. So if
Mhm.
you are using the word MVP, this is twice as important. Or startup or
True.
new
Yeah.
or any of those
I
words.
just had like flashbacks to some businesses. I'm like, oh God, it's so true.
Yeah. Because
when
if you're not clear, then
Mhm.
you have to, they're not going to be clear.
No, my
So,
palms are sweaty.
oof.
Yeah, I'm reliving some
Anyways.
crappy seasons of my life. Yeah, when expectations aren't clear, what happens is people make assumptions, and assumptions lead to breakdowns. Right? We've talked about this a lot. This is something that I feel like is now like people even like associate me with it. Is like expectation mapping and expectation alignment. Like this is the problem, right? It's like everyone creates expectations, right?
Mhm.
They make assumptions about how something's going to happen or what it's going to entail or what it's going to involve or what their commitment is, all the things. And if those aren't aligned, there will be a problem 1,000,000% of the time. So we're going to fix that. I'm going to talk about let's identify where clarity breaks down. So I want to start with just like giving a framework here, because we're talking like amazing example. I was there. And like I was there and didn't see it either, right? Like this is why we're talking about it. It is hard to see the forest for the trees, and when you're in it as a leader, if you don't like give yourself these checks, then you're like, yeah, we're nailed it. Like I was there. I was like, this is great. This is gonna be perfect. This is what an amazing opportunity. I mean, all these people that were excited and all this stuff, and it went real sideways. It's not, like not of any, like I was, again, I was there. I thought it was going to be great. So where does clarity break down? I'm going to give you a few kind of just bullet points here to give some framework. First place, vague goals, unspoken priorities, inconsistent follow-up, right? So goals aren't clear. Hey, yeah, we're going to do this. This is generally what we're looking for, blah, blah, blah. In relation to that, the priorities on how to get there, or every individual who's involved, their priorities are unspoken. And then we don't follow up on that. We talked about several episodes ago, the chef method, right? Follow up is that's the F in chef. And that's just a critical piece. Like, if you leave people out there on their own, like you're given, and we all will take enough rope to hang ourselves. Next, when the leadership assumes clarity instead of confirming it. This may have been where we went wrong. Part of it.
Yeah. And I think this one is really important because I have not, if you're like me, I have not understood. I'm like, asking someone, are you clear? Got it? Is not, do you need anything? Any support? Anything else you need? Are you ready? All those questions suck. Don't do that. They don't fucking know. They don't know. They're like, yeah, I'm clear, because I don't want to say I'm not clear, because that would be that's like, we're asking questions that evoke insecurity to pop up, instead of going, hey, can you repeat back to me? Like, let's just go over that. Let's make sure we all are on the same page. Why don't you run through what your next steps are? Instead of going, are you clear? Got it? Any questions? Stop doing that. I do that all the time still. And I'm like, I know. Like, that is not it. People aren't going, most people, specifically people who are junior or new in an organization or have a new project, again, word new, MVP, you have to do this more. So this one's big. I like, this is my favorite point, because I've done it's hardest so to do poorly.
And the consequences of those things. So again, vague goals, unspoken priorities, inconsistent follow-up. When you assume that there's clarity instead of confirming it, what that does is, one, it wastes a ton of time.
Yeah.
And it creates friction, and you miss your targets. Again, that's the misaligned priorities piece. You miss what you're actually going for. So let's talk about, we have we put together a 3-part, we're going to call it clarity framework, for lack of creativity on my part. And I want to just walk us through how can we start to like compartmentalize this, because this is a really big topic. So what's the clarity framework?
Yeah. So I love framework, because part of this started.
I love that for me.
Yeah, no, you're totally on brand. Part of this started because of the research that Brene Brown has done. And so I don't remember what book I've read them all, but she says, paint it done. And so this truly is a framework, because when we think about clarity, we should be able to, whoever you are communicating to, clients, team, whatever, should be able to look at it as they're looking at a picture in the best museum around the world, and it is painted, and it is done, it is on the wall, it is placed by a designer, and it has a frame. So I want you to think about that. If you are not that clear, then there's not actual clarity. So the first way to get that is, what does success look like? That's like the outcome. If we don't understand what the outcome is, if we don't understand where the picture is placed and the frame that it has and how it's designed, then we don't know what it looks like. And so what does success actually look like? What is the outcome that you want, and what is the outcome that person understands? So asking questions of, hey, what do you think the outcome is going to be when we're done with this? Asking questions to help us understand if the people around us understand the same outcome that we're looking for is a great place to start. Second is ownership. Who is truly responsible? I am so guilty of this. I'm like, we're going to do this. When I'm meeting with new facilitators, I'm like, we're going to build this brand. And I I get so excited, and I use the word we. Big mistake. I am going to help you do this. You are going to be responsible for X, Y, and Z. Quit using the word we in certain scenarios. And it's hard, because we work with people. People don't work for us. We talk about that a lot. But we have to be very clear whose responsibility it is. Because if there's not clarity there, they're going to expect you to do it. And then they're going to be mad at you because you made them take ownership. So start with an ownership mind. Step 3, checkpoints. How and when will we know we're on track? We have to have milestones, specifically since COVID. People need shorter timeframes. 6 months too long, 3 months too long, 1 month sometimes too long. So make sure that you have checkpoints. If you wait a month to complete the first step that you're trying to that's in your roadmap to get to your final result, that outcome, and that if those things don't get done within a month, make sure you have a checkpoint within 2 weeks or a week. Make sure you're talking to them. If you get to a point and you're like, oh my gosh, it's too late, find out what's too late to get a step done, and then back into it and set a checkpoint 2 weeks before that or 3 days before that. Don't get to the point where you're too late, because then there's no coming back and it's already failure. And then you're already down the line. So I'm just going to go over those steps really, really quick. Again, outcome, ownership, checkpoints. Write it down.
Love that framework.
Paint it done, baby.
Paint it done. All right. So now let's assume that none of us are doing this as well as we could. I think that's a fair, like across the board. This is it's really hard. It's hard when you're a
pro. Come talk to us. We want to interview you on this podcast.
Yeah. If you think you're nailing this,
I want to know you.
Like 100% of the time. Because some of this is the human condition too, right? Like we get in our own way. And, so I think it's maybe it's something we're always grappling with, right? It's like you said, it's our life's work. It's probably all of our life's work. Some of us are more, predisposed to maybe do it in different ways, but
that was directed at me. It's fine.
This is a pick on Christine show. I got to ask the question, so I'm in such a power role right now. I'm riding away.
It does feel different.
This is a totally different show.
I'm never gonna get the question again. I'm gonna be like on the spot all the time.
So if you're not doing it 100%, then I want to talk about how to reset clarity specifically with your team, and what it looks like to start to build a culture of clarity and get back on track. Couple of quick things, or a few kind of key points that will help you start to right the ship. One is to start with one-on-ones. So the best way to do this is to get some face time, to provide an environment where clarity can exist. So text message, I think it one-on-one, look at their face, could be in Zoom for sure, or, remotely. And then to ask the question, what does success look like in your role right now? Ask the person to define what success looks like for them. What that does is that gives you, as a leader, insight into what their priorities are and what the outcomes are. So again, going back to what we talked about at the top of the episode, that's so often where that's really the first like inflection point, or where the roads diverge, as priorities are different, and what the definition of success and the outcomes required to get there are misaligned. So what that does, it gives you really good from the other person's perspective, and then you can look for alignment there. So that's a very powerful question, where then if the answer is not in alignment with yours, then it opens up a conversation to build that bridge and to align expectations.
That is also another great question in interviewing, when you're trying to see, after you outline the roles and responsibilities and what the role looks like. If you're in an interview and you ask that and the person is totally off, either you haven't been clear or you have the absolute wrong person. So little bonus point there.
And then, and you mentioned this earlier, it's what we call the confirmation loop. Ask them to repeat back the plan in their own words. Yeah. You can do this however you want. It can be informal. It doesn't have to be a whole thing. You don't have to put them on the spot. But the confirmation loop, right? That the way that we communicate things, the language that we use, our body language, our positioning, are we in person, are we remote? All of that matters in how or impacts how that messaging is received. Ask them to give it back to you. Again, if it's not in alignment, then build the bridge. You're looking for opportunities to communicate clearly. That's what this is doing, is it's opening up space and time to actually solve these problems ahead of time, or to get ahead of what could and will potentially be a problem. Next is to clarify it in writing. So what gets documented gets done. So if you're like, all right, go nuts. Where can it come back to, right? You need a landing place. You need, whether that's project management software, whether that's a meeting agenda, whether that's tasks, whether that's whatever you're doing, it needs to be in writing, because then it gets lost. They get other things on their plate. We get pulled in different directions. So you need documentation to outline what the clear objectives are and what direction they're moving. So,
leadership challenge.
Ding, 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 ding. Yes, I love this.
Okay, so my leadership challenge for you today is find someone around you.
Is it me?
Yeah, no, I don't want to ask you.
You're looking at me.
No, find someone around you. You're the only person around. Not Taylor. Find someone around you, and ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 how clear you communicate. Then ask them, depending on what it is, You can tell me, how clear do I communicate?
Right now, you're like a solid 7.
Oh, I thought he was going to be like solid 4. And then ask them what you could do better to communicate more clearly.
Everything.
So actually, I'm a 1.
No, that's a great. I love that.
Yeah. So I
Super clear.
If we don't understand how people receive us, we'll never grow. Or you'll be doing the things in the wrong direction. So go ask the people around you. Go ask your team, your spouse, your kids. Oof, kids are brutal.
Yeah,
they're beautiful. I almost said beautiful.
They're beautiful and brutal. That's a poem.
Brutal but brilliant. That is like my.
That's
signature.
the holiday.
Yeah. What? Brutal but brilliant.
Yeah, that's the feedback that he gets. When Kate Winslet's character gets feedback, it says brutal but brilliant.
That resonates so
I love that movie.
much. Oh yeah.
The holiday.
Yeah. No, go ask. Go ask. And your kids will give you brutal honesty. They always do, especially if they're teenagers. They're so honest. So go ask your team, go get in the trenches. Because if you don't know where to grow.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
so
love that.
Oh, that came out really.
I know. You're bouncing back from the question. You're doing good. You really weathered the storm well.
I really have. There you go.
Love it. All right. Quick places you can find us. So May's events. We are going to be at Kiln in Littleton, Colorado. Our 2 recurring events we do every month. May 28th, we're doing our health and fitness business roundtable. Incredible event if you're a health and fitness entrepreneur and you're looking for community, you're looking for tactical guidance, real conversations that are going to move the needle in your business, and you are anywhere close to Denver. This is one not to be missed. And then if you're in the service and trades industries, then we have an event on May 29th, also at Kiln in Littleton. Beautiful space. We use the theater in Kiln, and it's just a killer space. Their whole vibe is so incredible. So,
you know what I got an email about this morning. I didn't even tell you yet.
Oh,
someone from, it's not necessarily just a networking. These are not just networking. These, you actually get to come and learn at these events.
Mm-hmm.
But I got an email from one of our contractors that owns a restoration company that came the last couple of months. And he just closed a $250,000 deal from someone in that group. So I am going to plug that. That is like shameless plug.
Yeah.
I am so pumped about that.
That's stellar.
This group is fire. They're
powerhouses.
They are fire, and it's so different from just card poking. So you guys, if you're in Denver, I'm not just saying this because Taylor and I are awesome, but it is literally changing the game for some of these businesses. So I'm not one to say it with that confidence, but I got that email this morning and I was like, fuck yes, that is what we are talking about. That's what happens when true relationships are built. So if you're looking for that type of results, I can't promise you're going to get that unless you show up like him, because he's fire.
Nice.
But definitely join us. It's life-changing.
Yep.
I'm not even joking.
So cool. Yeah, May 28th, May 29th. We'll have it in the show notes. You can also find us at impactinitiative.network. Reach out to us there. Let us know how we can help. If you need support, we'd love to hear from you. Until then, we'll see you next time on Impact Minded.